I mean, flying in an airplane is kind of like you get to sit for a while. You know, you sit in the airplane, you get on the airplane, you wait in line to get on the airplane, and you go, oh, I'm gonna get on this airplane, and you get your seat, you have your ticket, you scan it, you get on the airplane, you sit, where your ticket says to sit at your airplane seat, and you sit there. Maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes go by where you're just sitting there kind of, or maybe shorter than that, but it always feels like half an hour. And then they do the safety check thing, and you never pay attention to that because it's the same thing every time. It's just like, oh, fasten your seatbelt. I already know how to fasten my seatbelt, so I don't need to watch them explain it. And also, another thing about the safety warning is if the safety warning stuff actually were to happen, then I think by that point you're basically already dead. Basically, no point in like nothing you can do at that point will save you. I mean, I don't know if they've ever actually used any of the safety like strategies. I don't know if they've ever like done the water landing and it worked. Maybe once, like maybe twice, probably not more than that. But and then after that, after the safety warning, you take off, and then when you're in the air, it's like, well, during the takeoff, it's fun. You go real fast. It's like, oh man, I'm going fast. It's an airplane. It's like going fast. And then suddenly you're in the air, and then you feel it's kind of like a roller coaster thing. It's like you got like some G forces or whatever. You feel that. And then I don't know, it's interesting to see what people do during the takeoff. It's like some people will keep reading or doing whatever they're doing. Some people will, you know, be doing stuff. Some people will be looking out the window. It's kind of surprising how little sometimes it seems like people are reacting to the takeoff. It's like, to me, it's like the takeoff, it's like a big deal. And I've been on a lot of flights. Sometimes I try to act kind of nonchalant about it. It's like, oh, I've taken off. I've taken off before. It's like, this isn't my first time taking off. But then it's like, it's still cool every time because you get those G forces. It's like a big rush, you know? I feel like people don't even focus on the rush. It's a big rush, you know? And then after that, you sit in the seats for a while. Well, for the rest of the flight, you sit in the seats, of course. And I forgot to mention, you either got like a middle seat or an aisle seat or a window seat. If you got a window seat, you can sit. Yeah, you can like rest your head on the window. That's nice. If you're in the middle seat, middle seat, you're kind of just screwed. There's like nothing good about a middle seat. Aisle seat, of course, you have like the most leg room. You can put your feet in the aisle. You can go to the bathroom without having to get people to stand up. So that's nice. And then depending on who you're sitting with, that's going to make a huge difference also with how the flight goes. Because if you're sitting in the middle, then you have to deal with, and you're by yourself, you have to sit next to two like strangers, and they can vary a lot. Sometimes they're smelly, sometimes they're fat, sometimes they're chatty, sometimes they're a good, nice, quiet, small person. That's the best because then you don't have to deal with them too much and they don't take up space. But the best is if you're traveling with other people because that you're like in a group with, because then you're sitting next to each other, because then you don't have to deal with the like risk of sitting next to like a 500-pound smelly person, which happens, you know. And if that happens, there's nothing you can do. You're just stuck with a safety risk. You might you might suffocate if you're next to a 500-pound, whale. So that's a whole bit. That's a whole part of the travel experience. Um, and then when you're flying, most of the time you can't see anything out the. If you have a window seat, it's like, oh, it's going to be a nice view, but usually not, because most of the time, the only thing you can see from the window seat is like clouds, but you're above the clouds, so you can see like the clouds below you and the sky above you. If it's daytime, people get irritated, or I'll get irritated by you if you open the window, because then it gets brighter, a lot brighter, and it's hard to sleep. If it's nighttime and you open up your window, you just won't be able to see anything really. It's just dark. So in either case, it's kind of like there's not much good to opening the window. But it's great that they have windows in airplanes. If they didn't have windows in airplanes, it would really suck. It would feel like you were really just in a tube, kind of blow. It's pretty. I'm glad that they have windows. It's a great feature. And sometimes you see cool stuff out the windows, like you can see mountains and stuff. If you fly over Denver or something, the Rocky Mountains and shit like that. So you fly in the airplane for a while, and then at some point, it's just your normal flying, and you're just like, you're done with the takeoff portion, seatbelt sign is off, babies are crying, all that shit. People are watching movies. I find myself looking at other people's movies while they're watching them. If I can see their screen, I'm like, oh, what's that? It's always funny. Sometimes they'll have like a sex scene on their movie, and then it's like, oh no. I mean, I don't know if it's like, oh no for them, but when I have a sex scene on my phone, then I kind of get shy about it, kind of hide it. I don't, because it's weird to watch that with other people there. But I think some people just probably don't care. It seems like they don't care, and I'll be seeing the scene, and it'll be a whole weird experience where I'm watching their movie without sound, kind of from clip to clip. And then all these airlines, they have like a lot of them have like free access to their movies. They don't have TVs anymore. They just expect you to have a phone, which makes sense because most people have phones. You just watch their movies that they have on their website. They'll give you free Wi-Fi, quote, free Wi-Fi. You can only use their website, but you have access to a bunch of movies, which is cool. Movies that you would otherwise never see. So it's kind of like a good opportunity to see some movies that you've been meaning to see, that you like forgot about, because they have a bunch of like obscure stuff that you like forget about. That's not on other streaming services. It's like only like it's a streaming service that's like only on airplanes, kind of. It's like a whole thing. And you can pay for Wi-Fi too, but I've never done that. It always seemed like kind of a scam. Plus, you can bring a book on an airplane. Reading on an airplane is good. I find myself just kind of listening to music and, chilling out. Usually it's good chill out time. It's kind of nice. I don't even sleep much on airplanes. A lot of people sleep on airplanes. It's like, it's kind of too hard to sleep. It's not very comfortable at all. Comfort level on an airplane, it's like the best sleep you can get on an airplane, in my experience, is like half asleep. If you can get half asleep, it's like, wow, you're sleeping. That's really great. It's like, how was your flight? Oh, I slept great. That means you were half asleep. That's like as good as it gets. So, and then they have the flight attendants. They'll bring you like sometimes like pretzel pack. Sometimes they'll ask you if you want to drink. I always get myself a nice Coke, with ice. They give you the rest of the can, so you get like more liquid for your buck. If you get water, you only get one. They don't give you a can of water usually. Sometimes I've had it where they've given me like a little cup of water, a little box of water, and then the little like plastic cups so that you can refill it. Usually not. But when you have a Coke, you get the full can and you can refill your little plastic cup, and you got ice and stuff. So it's nice. Coke is nice on a flight. But then, it's always I feel like it's depressing to have like 2 Cokes in one day, or it's unhealthy. Because if you look at the sugar content, it's like a shitload of sugar. So then I get the Coke, and then the next time when they come back, if it's a long flight and they come back for drinks, it's all depressing. I have to go, I want water. But like, I didn't really want water. I wanted Coke. But like, if I had a second Coke, that would really be kind of shitty. Or maybe I could just get the Coke again, but it's not what I do. So then the flight goes on for a while, more of the same. You're sitting there, maybe you get an idea or two. Everyone's trying to fill their time. Everyone's sitting there. Hopefully nobody gets into an altercation on the airplane, because I've had it once where everyone on the airplane, I mean, not everybody, there was a group that got in an argument, and there was there's this one really smelly lady that got in an altercation with another person. And it's like, it sucks when there's an altercation because you're all stuck on the fucking airplane. You're stuck. You can't go anywhere. And it's like, when people get in an altercation, you realize how little space there is in an airplane. Because like, if the airplane gets unruly, then you're pretty much just fucked. There's nowhere you can go. And it's very, when there was that altercation, I got kind of claustrophobic. It was like, oh shit, everything could get fucked up really fast in a small space. It'd suck. But it didn't get too bad then, and it usually isn't much of a problem. So I guess the next part I'll talk about is like the landing. The landing is like, fast, exciting. Sometimes it's bumpy, sometimes it's smooth. It's always exciting to me. Sometimes it's really like intense. It always seems like, how's this thing gonna land? And then it lands. Like it's going really fast. It goes really fast when it lands, and then it's like you can feel that it's trying to stop. Like the airplane is like, so there's like it's like the brakes are turning on or whatever. So there's like an intense force of some kind. I don't know if that's like G-force. No, that's not. But you're feeling intense like forces at play, where it's like the plane is trying to stop and it's also going fast landing. So it's like cool. I put my foot on my backpack if my backpack is in front of me to make sure that it doesn't like roll into the seat in front of it. And that's that. And then after the flight has landed, the plane like drives around or whatever to get to its gate, and then when the plane stops, hopefully you're in a good row that's close to the front door. Otherwise you're going to have to wait a bunch. But what's always funny is that everybody fucking, like, all the aisle seats, even in the back row, stand up. They like stand up. They get out of their seat and stand up for seemingly no reason. Because they stand up and then they stand there for like what feels like maybe 15 minutes. I'm not sure. And it's like, it's pointless to stand up because you have to wait anyway, but they still do it. When I'm in an aisle seat, I always just sit down and stay sitting until it's like my turn to get up and go. Because there's no point in just standing and waiting. But a lot of people they're like just not patient at all. I've had it where I was sitting in the aisle and the person in the middle seat next to me was standing up, like as if that was progress in some way. That happened yesterday to me. It didn't really make sense. They weren't even fully standing up because they couldn't. They were in like a half squat. They were crouching. But just like, I guess they wanted out of their seat. That was progress to them. So, yeah. And then you get off the plane and then you walk. Hopefully you don't have a connecting flight. If you have a connecting flight, most of the time you're like, oh, I'm late for my flight, my connecting flight. You like run through the airport to get to your next flight. But if you don't have a connecting flight, you can get your checked baggage, or you can just go to wherever you're going. And then if you're getting your checked baggage, hopefully they don't lose your shit, because I've had it where I've lost my shit and then you're just kind of fucked. But I wasn't too fucked because I ended up getting my shit about 3 weeks later. So that was actually good. It wasn't good because I lost my shit for a while, including my like retainer, which I needed kind of like right away because I don't want my teeth to shift. but it was fine in the end. I actually ended up buying new clothes to replace them, and then replace the clothes that I lost in my luggage. But then my suitcase was found, so that was cool. So yeah, I guess that's all the stuff I have to say about air travel.